Good evening, it's April 3rd, 2025, and it's time for my second set of devotionals. Won't you join me? And Celebrate Recovery, Healing from Hurts, Habits, and Hang-Ups. Day 93, Drying Out the Mold. Whoever lives by the truth comes into the light, so that it may be seen plainly that what he has done has been done through God. John 3:21. Mold thrives in dark places. Expose it to the light and it dries up. Sin is like that too. I remember those days when I used to hide. I hid my addictions, my emotions, my pain, and my struggles. It's exhausting to always be in hiding. The enemy likes it because he wants sin to thrive in our lives. He knows that if sin is brought out into the light, it will soon dry up. The tools we learn to use during recovery can help us keep our sin exposed and dealt with. Two principles are especially important. 1. Reserve a daily time with God for self-examination, Bible reading, and prayer. That is how we know God and His will for our lives, as well as gain the power to follow His will. 2. Yield to God to be used to bring this good news to others, both by example and by words. We must never try to hide our sin. Adam and Eve tried that, and it cost them everything. The garden they called home, and especially their sweet fellowship with their Creator. It's simple, really. Mold thrives in the darkness, but dries when exposed to the light. In the same way, we must not allow sin to thrive in our lives, but instead expose it and deal with it. Prayer. Lord, I know it is human nature to think that I can hide my sin from you, but you see all, even the darkest places in my life. Expose all that I am to your healing light. In Jesus' name, amen. And in my quiet time devotional, Day 93, He did it for you. The crowd watched and the leader scoffed. He saved others, they said. Let him save himself if he is really God's Messiah, the chosen one. Luke 23:35. We normally think of Jesus' physical sufferings, so graphically depicted in many sculptures, paintings, and dramas, as the worst part of his experience. Yet another aspect of that day may have been even more difficult to bear: the scornful mocking of his enemies, taunting him, daring him to prove his messianic claims by simply saving himself. I doubt whether we can ever empathize with how great a temptation that must have been. Ground under the mill wheel of pain, listening to the hoots of derision from the crowd, but worst of all, listening to these self-assured religious leaders calling out for everyone to hear what must have seemed irrefutable logic. All he has to do to prove that he is God's chosen one, as he claims, is to simply come down from there. Exercise your power, Messiah, if that's who you are, and we'll all believe in you. He must have thought about how divinely easy it would be to suddenly, dramatically rip the nails from the cross, step down with a miraculously restored, powerful, scar-free body, and smile smugly right into the centurions and then the priests' blanched faces. See? But he didn't. If he had saved himself, you and I would still be lost and unforgiven, without a shred of hope. But he knew that he came to save others, so he ignored the taunts and bore it to the end. Thank Jesus for the pain he endured for you. Drying out the mold, aka sin, in our lives is the very least we can do when you think about all that Christ suffered on the cross just to forgive those sins, and that he did it for you and me. I hope you have a blessed day.